They come and say, oh, well, we found something illegal in there, counterfeit money. You found something illegal, but you didn't think to retain it. You didn't think to file a police report. You had no concern about giving me an application. But when I say that I'm not going to stay here until you guys resolve the issue, then you want to bring up the counterfeit money.
He can't say that.
Sir, you can't
Is he
say
allowed
that.
to say
I'll
that?
say it louder.
To have a couch here, a TV stand with the TV.
After Johnny Abney spent years building a life
This was my daughter's snack drawer.
for himself and his 9-year-old daughter,
It was a closet full of clothes.
Hey, he ain't had
this
nothing but
is
top
all that's
ramen in
left
there.
of their stuff.
Everything gone.
Everything they own
Clothing items, all my groceries. They cleared out my whole refrigerator full of groceries.
is gone.
Well, we had a shower curtain here.
Not stolen, thrown in the dumpster by order of the management at the Hamilton, the high-end mid-rise apartment building where Johnny and his daughter lived in the Deep Ellum neighborhood of Dallas.
They came to my door and cleaned everything out, from my daughter's clothes to my clothes to everything, from a toothbrush, bathing items. Like, they pretty much left me with nothing.
It's all in this police report Johnny filed when he returned home from work in late July to find his apartment door unlocked and the contents cleared out. According to the report's narrative, a leasing agent on site said,
If you come home and you're like, dang, somebody's come in and robbed me, that's one thing. If you've come home and you've been wrongfully evicted, they got the wrong unit. They meant to get the unit next to you and they take all your stuff and throw it out, which is what they do on evictions. They might not even put your stuff in a bag. They might just throw it out on the curb. That might make you crash out.
on site said there was a misunderstanding and maintenance
Absolutely
accidentally
there was.
cleared out Abney's unit instead of the unit next door where a tenant was being evicted. All of Johnny's belongings had been thrown in the dumpster hours earlier and had been picked over by the other residents. This is video Johnny took of his discarded stuff. He says his mattress had been urinated on.
Not only did
That's
they
disgusting.
put my stuff out, they watched people take all my property all day.
Property management offered to get what they could from the trash and return it to Johnny's unit. Johnny said they even had that stained mattress professionally cleaned.
Listen, dog. You cannot bring no pissy mattress that you done put by the dumpster back into my spot. It's not happening. Not only are you going to get me a new mattress, you're going to refurnish the entire apartment. It's no telling what that dude lost, honestly. It's no telling the amount of stuff that he lost in terms of clothes. Furniture is expensive. I remember when I first moved out, I didn't realize how much bed frames and couches and all that stuff cost. That dude's stuff is destroyed. Somebody saw a mattress by the dumpster and decided that the best use for it was to urinate on it, not even take it and donate it or something. Like a good working, a perfectly fine mattress. It looks like it could be a Tempur-Pedic or something. They've admitted some wrong, right? They went and got it cleaned and put it back in there and said they would move his stuff back in. If it was me, you can't move that back in my house. You can replace it, absolutely. But you're not taking the mattress to somebody that done peed on that you've moved by the trash can. No telling what was over there. You're not moving that back in my house. Go over to the mattress firm and get me a new one.
Mattress professionally cleaned, but most of his and his daughter's stuff was gone for good.
This door is completely gone, and this one, they just completely just broke it.
Much of what did make it back from the dumpster, he showed us, was damaged.
They told me that it was a mistake. They apologized the first night. They were overly apologetic. Like, let us know anything missing.
But that quickly took a turn.
Even though it was your stuff, it's her apartment. It's under her name. The contract is in her name and her name solely.
This is video Johnny recorded of a conversation he had with one of the leasing agents who was quick to point out the apartment in which he and his daughter lived was leased by his ex-girlfriend who had since moved out of state. Johnny was subletting without permission, and even though these receipts provided to us by an attorney for the Hamilton show that Johnny paid the near $3,000 in rent each month, any direct discussion about making him whole was off the table.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter whose name was on the apartment. You shouldn't have been in there evicting him. It doesn't matter if she lives there and he's paying the rent or who's paying the rent or whose name is on it. You weren't supposed to be removing stuff out of there based on the fact that he was not the person that you were trying to evict. You need to replace all of the stuff that you wrongfully threw out by the trash can, including the pissy mattress that you tried to put back in my apartment. I think he has a legal leg to stand on based on the fact that they should have been out in there taking stuff out of the apartment anyway. It doesn't matter whose name was on it. You weren't supposed to be in there.
Binded by law. We cannot discuss anything with anybody that is not her.
According to this
No problem. Let
lawsuit
me call
Johnny
her
has
up.
now filed against the property management company, they gave him 24 hours to fill out his own rental application or face eviction.
I've already lost property. Now you're trying to kick me off the property at short notice with no resolve.
Here's the eviction notice. It was posted on his
How are
door
you in
the
there
next
doing
day.
the interview?
Rent was paid in full. There was no reason to go into his apartment. There was no reason to throw anything away.
Jason Friedman is Johnny's attorney. He says the issue of who was on the lease is irrelevant.
The apartment
Agreed.
building,
Well, he's the lawyer.
they
He knows
didn't
better than
know
me.
when they threw all that stuff away whose stuff it was, whether it was the person on the lease or his.
And adds Johnny chose not to fill out the application or pay the fee required for one very simple reason.
He chose not to because he said, I want to resolve the situation with my property that you threw away before I decide if I'm going to stay in this building.
An attorney for the Hamilton,
Which is obviously the right and correct decision. Why would I lock myself into a 6-month, 12-month, 18-month contract with you to pay you almost $3,000 and you won't even have a discussion about the stuff that you've wrongfully thrown out of the apartment that I'm living in? There's no way. It's going to be harder for me to fight getting out of that lease after you've already got me inked on the dotted line. You can't even make me whole with the thousands of dollars worth of stuff, tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff. How about we have a discussion about replacing my belongings before we have a discussion about whether I'm going to continue to live here or not?
an attorney for the Hamilton, who would not speak to us on camera but did communicate by phone and email, said on behalf of the building, even if Johnny did fill out the rental application, he would have been denied because he already violated the lease terms as an unauthorized occupant.
With me losing all my property, like, that's the last thing on my mind.
According to the lawsuit, the Hamilton also alleged there was counterfeit money pulled from Johnny's things. Another reason they say he would not be welcome to stay. We asked them to provide a police report, photos or video, any evidence at all. They provided none.
To have a couch here, a TV.
After they provided him with an application to apply and were willing to accept his application fee, and he said, no, I'm not doing that. How about we replace my stuff and then we can have a discussion about whether I'm going to continue to live here. They came back and said, if you submitted that application, we were going to deny you. No, you weren't. That's why you gave me one. You gave me an application because you wanted to secure getting money from me so you could take my rent money and then go replace my stuff. That's not how it's going to work. I've got a lawyer. We're going to go through the litigation process and I'm going to get my stuff back. Because like the lawyer said, you didn't know whose name was on the lease at the time that you threw it out. So even if you had a reason to actually evict me because I'm not on the lease and I'm subleasing, which is a violation of the lease agreement, you didn't know it at the time. That's like the fruit of the poisonous tree, right? In the law. Anything that was wrongfully obtained, anything that was obtained illegally, without a warrant or something, you can't use that. It's not admissible. And based on my very, very limited legal understanding, I think he has a case and he should absolutely continue to fight this. And then at the end, they come and say, oh, well, we found something illegal in there, counterfeit money. You found something illegal, but you didn't think to retain it. You didn't think to file a police report. You had no concern about giving me an application. But when I say that I'm not going to stay here until you guys resolve the issue, then you want to bring up the counterfeit money. It seems a little fishy. It seems more than a little fishy. If you like the video, like the video. Subscribe to me back here for the next conversation. And if you have thoughts on this guy getting wrongfully evicted, I think he was wrongfully evicted, regardless of the fact that he was subleasing. They didn't mean to come into his apartment. They meant to come into another one. So they need to replace his stuff. But if you have a difference of opinion or you agree, let the world know. This is the place for discourse. Till next time. Peace.